Welcome back. Let's start our gains from trade example by just gathering the data we need and setting up the problem. So we have two countries to think about. We have Mexico, so we'll put Mexico on one side, and we have Canada. We'll put them on the other side. So for Mexico, let's say that they have 20,000 hours of labor available. So 20,000 hours of labor. And Canada is going to have 10,000 hours of labor. 10,000 hours of labor. So we have two countries, Mexico and Canada, and they can produce two goods, phones and corn. So let's assume for Mexico that it takes them 200 hours per phone, and it takes them 20 hours of labor per ton of corn. And Canada, if they're producing phones, it's going to take them 125 hours per phone, or it's going to take them 15 hours per corn. Okay, we've got enough information now that we can start setting up their production possibility frontiers. So let's set up a PPF for each country. And we'll put phones on the horizontal axis, and we'll put corn on the vertical. So once we've got them labeled, now we've got to start thinking about what's the quantity of phones that can be produced, or the quantity of corn that can be produced if each country were to put all of its effort into only producing that one good. So let's think about Canada first, and let's think about corn. So if we think about corn, they've got 10,000 hours of labor available, and for each corn it's going to take them 15 hours per corn. So if we think 10,000 hours divided by 15 hours per corn, how many can they produce? Well, that works out to be something like, so approximately 667 corn. If they were to use those same 10,000 hours, and instead put it in the phones, which take 125 hours for each phone. So 10,000 hours divided by 125 hours per phone. Then that means they're going to be able to produce like 80 phones. So now that we've got that information, we can finish setting up the PPF. So corn, sort of pick our spot, and we'll say this is 667 tons of corn they can produce, or they can produce 80 phones if they put all their effort into producing phones. Now, they don't have to only produce phones or only produce corn. They can produce some combination in between. All right, what about Mexico? So if we take Mexico's 20,000 hours and think about, well, what if they only made phones with it? So 200 hours per phone. That means Mexico can produce 100 phones. Or if they take that same 20,000 hours, so all of their labor, their same 20,000 hours, and they decide they're only going to grow corn with it, so 20 hours per corn, then they can end up producing what? 1,000 units, tons, whatever you want to say, right? 1,000 corn. So now we can go ahead and set up their production possibility frontier. So 667, you don't have to get this visually right, but we'll give it at least a token effort. So 1,000 corn if they only make corn, or 100 phones if they put all their time in the phones, or some combination in between. So now that we've set up our problem, we've got the data for each country, we've got their production possibility frontier set up, we can think about how do these countries do in isolation, in autarky. We can let them specialize and then trade back with each other to see if trade makes each country better off. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.